Okay, Nitish, just brief about yourself and your articleship.
Good evening, sir. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Nitish Kumar. I was born in Bihar and raised up in Delhi. I completed my articleship from Aerodyne Company where I gained exposure in GST. In GST, I was mainly responsible for registration, cancellation, and filing of returns along with reconciliation and reply of notices. And I was also engaged in ITR filings, reconciliations of TDS and TDS filings and e-payments. Along with that, I assisted in filing of returns and financial statements, while I was also engaged in data reconciliation, aging analysis, and other stock reconciliation reports. And I am actually quite a dedicated, disciplined, and self-goal-oriented person. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So as you mentioned, you worked regarding TDS and TCS and e-way
Yes,
bills
sir.
and all e-invoices as well. So just tell me about what is e-invoicing and when e-invoice is required to be generated.
E-invoices are actually reporting of invoices in the portal so that government can actually track the invoices which are actually being generated. And the e-invoicing criteria is applicable when the turnover actually crosses 5 crore. The e-invoicing becomes mandatory while anyone else can file it voluntarily. If he actually wants to generate voluntary, he can actually go for invoice. There is no issue.
Okay. And you also generated e-way bills. How we can generate it? What is the procedure?
Sir, to generate e-way bill, first of all, we have to register at the e-way bill portal. Then we have to put our ID password. Then we will get our OTP. Then after that, we have to go to generate new invoice, new e-way bill. And after generating e-way bill, we have to put our document number, the recipient ID, and the supplier ID is actually auto-populated. Now we also have to fill the HSN code, the quantity details, and other details of transporter in the part B, and part A, normal the invoice details and item details. Then after that, if we submit, we get a QR code which is actually being generated, and also get a e-way bill number for this.
Okay. And what is the validity of e-way bill?
So the validity of e-way bill depends upon the distance. For every 200 kilometer, it is actually 1 day, and you can, if there are certain circumstances, we can actually extend that.
Okay. In case of over-dimensional cargo?
So in case of over-dimensional cargo, I am actually not quite aware about this, but I will get through this.
Okay. You also did reconciliation of physical inventory with electronic records. So what is the
Yes,
procedure
sir.
of this?
First of all, sir, physical inventory is actually required in order to have a better valuation, I will say. Next, the procedure for this is actually the first we have to go through prepare a checklist what is actually required, and after that we can go into the inventory portal and we can actually scrap out the dump of all the inventories, and further after that I will rearrange that according to the groups and subgroups, and with the value and quantity. And for the quantity purpose, I will actually reconcile that with the department or the respective store, and accordingly I will actually mark that. And if there are any actual discrepancies, I will actually talk to the management and let them know what is actually the criteria for that.
Okay. What is perpetual inventory system?
Sir, sorry, sir, but I'm not actually aware about perpetual inventory. I am not able to recall this right now.
Okay. So what you used to do, suppose you find any inventory which is not matching with the electronic record. So what is the procedure then we should follow?
So suppose there is actually inventory which is in the records but actually not physically available. So there can be multiple reasons. So first of all, we actually communicate with the manager or the respective person who actually has the reasons for that. And if there are reasons, so the main reasons are either the inventory has been actually shifted but the entry has still not been made, or either it is in the transit and still not recorded in the invoice. And these can be the two reasons for that.
Okay. You also mentioned that you worked addressing tax complexities. So what kind
Yes,
of
sir.
complexities you addressed?
Sir, while addressing the individual, for example, there was a client which was actually engaged to has the dilemma whether he has to choose the old regime or the new tax regime. So while actually giving him the tax planning, I had to go through all the deductions and other exemptions which he would go for, and the tax slab rates, and further in the new scheme also. And I made actually a comparison for that and then submitted that. I would say that was the complicated part for me, and I'm not about. I don't know actually about the others, but I think that was actually a complicated part for me, sir.
Okay, what is the latest tax rates under new regime?
So the latest tax rates for slab rate is actually under Income Tax Act 2025 is 0 to 4 nil, 4 to 85%. Next, after next 8 to 12, 10%. 12 to 16 goes to 15%, and 16 to 20 goes to 20%, and 20 to 24 goes to 25%, and for above 24% it is 30%. And for the companies, if the turnover for the previous to previous year, which is actually audited, if it is less than 400 crores, the limit is the rate is 25%, otherwise it is 30%. While we have alternative tax regimes, you can also go for 115 BAA, where the tax rate
I
is
just asked about the
22% plus.
individual only.
Okay, sir.
Just tell me any 5 exemption or deduction which are not available under new regime.
Sir, for under new regime, the exemption which is actually under section 10A for SEZ, I would say it is not available. And
Is it
section
10A?
24, 10, no sir, 10 subsection 1.
Are you sure?
Sir, actually, I have a doubt quite a bit, but approximately this is actually
Okay.
other directions. Sir, 24B is not allowed under this regime. HRA deduction is actually not allowed, and other deduction from ATC to ATU is not allowed, except ATCCD2 is allowed. And if there is any loss which is actually which is not which is accumulated due to interest, that is also not allowed.
Okay.
Okay, Nitish. Tell me what is the idle time variance?
Sir, idle time variance arises when there is actually a difference between actual hours paid and actual hours worked. So the difference arises when there is actually a deviation between the hours which is actually being worked and the hours which is actually being paid. Suppose there is a person who is actually working for 8 hours, and while we are paying for 9 hours, so the 1 hour's difference is the idle time variance, and the idle time variance is actually adverse, always adverse.
Okay. What is marginal costing?
So marginal costing is a technique of costing where we actually use it to analyze the marginal cost, and or you can say variable cost, to take further decisions such as product mix or outsourcing decisions, and other decisions as well.
How the key factor decision is taken by the help of marginal costing?
For key factor decisions, sir, first of all, we have to decide what is actually the key factor or key constant for this, and next we have to derive the contribution per key factor, and after that we have to segregate them on the basis of rankings on the highest contribution to the lowest contributions.
How the
And
contribution
Yes, sir.
as per key factor is calculated?
So the contribution as per key factor is calculated. First of all, we have to we need to have the selling price, and after that we have to deduct the variable cost, and further we will get the contribution. Then we have to divide it by the key factor, which can be either the labor hours, the material, or the machine hours, and after that dividing the total contribution divided by the machine hours, or the which is actually the restraint, we will get the contribution per key factor, and after that we have to organize in such a manner that highest to lower contribution, the maximum resources need to be utilized for the product which is actually giving the highest contribution per key factor, and further that in that manner.
Okay. Now moving to the financial reporting part. What is fair value measurement?
So in fair value measurement, we actually decide the value as per the recent or you can say the market standards, or on the basis of the inflows which are actually going to generated in the future, and after that we discount that, we get the fair value.
Okay, what is interest pooling method?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about this right now.
Okay.
Okay, Nitish. So
Yes.
you belongs from Bihar.
Yes, ma'am.
So Bihar is the state where every student dream to be in a government job, either it's state services or civil services. So which motivate you to become cost and management accountant?
Ma'am, actually, I was born in Bihar, but most of my adulthood was actually spent in Delhi. And the teachers which I was influenced are basically from the from this background, which who are actually working in privates. My mentor, who is actually a chartered accountant, cost accountant, and a company secretary qualified, he had suggested me this course, and I then do myself this research and try to analyze what is actually the benefit or the professional qualification which I am getting. So I think this was the criteria, and further there were some other also benchmarks which I took, and then I selected CMA as my goal or my profession, and right now I'm here.
Okay, so many congratulations. You have get the AIR 9. Okay, Nitish.
Yes.
So what's the difference between provision and reserves?
Ma'am, provision is actually created charge when there is actually charge against. You can say provision is charge against profit, while reserves are accumulated only when there is a profit. Or provisions is actually created for expected losses which are going to be incurred in future, while reserves are for unexpected losses or the unexpected scenarios which are actually going to come in the future. I think I will say these are the two main differences.
How many methods are there for capital budgeting?
For capital budgeting, there are various methods. You can either use NPV, profitability index, payback period, MIRR, IRR. I think these are the mostly 5 methods which are actually being used in capital budgeting decisions.
What is IRR?
IRR is actually the rate of return of the project which is actually being generated, and to calculate IRR we need to have the outflows and further the yearly inflows. Then we can actually derive a rate which is actually the project rate which we are actually getting from it.
Okay. What is sunk cost?
And sunk cost is the cost which has been actually already made, and we cannot actually derive any further benefit from it, but the cost which has already done in the past, it is actually not relevant for decision making as it has already been incurred.
Can you give me any example of sunk cost?
Suppose, ma'am, I am actually giving the practical example. Suppose I need to launch a sim like a Jio. In order to do that, I have to spend on more on the towers, on the communication, and further the networking and fiber cables. So the amount which I already spent on these things, these are actually not going to be recovered from the future instances. So this actually became the historical past cost, or we can say the sunk cost. So this cannot be relevant for my decision making purposes.
Are you sure this is sunk cost?
Yes, ma'am. This is sunk cost. Yes.
Okay, Nitish. Thank you.
Hello, Nitish.
Hello, ma'am.
Analytical skills. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. The first question for you is, do you want to start your career with a small company that gives you multiple kind of responsibilities and a higher package? However, there is another company, MNC, recognized by the world, but is going to give you a bit lower salary package and the work that you come from, the background you come from. A small local company or a small startup of your own city, or maybe a big company. How do you want to start your career with, and why?
Right now, I qualified my CMA after so much hard work and dedication. So I want to give not the company criteria, but the job role which I am actually getting and the exposure which I am getting. And even if the higher company is actually paying me more than the company which is actually quite low or small or a recent based startups, I would love to work where I have more opportunities and learning to grow, because the life is actually, I have this thinking, or I would say that the more I grow, the more I will learn. So I think the company which is actually have the more responsibilities, I am going to have more responsibilities and more further growth instances. I will actually choose that.
Okay. In that MNC, in that big company, what if you have to report to someone who's a junior to you? That person got promoted and you have to report to someone who was earlier your junior and now is your boss. How are you going to face this situation? Will you be awkward? Will you feel embarrassed? Will you feel defeated? How are you going to react in that way?
I think learning has no criteria, be it age, be it any gender, or be it anything else. If he is actually promoted, it is actually his capability. So I will actually try to learn from those his outcomes and his actually hard works, how he did that, and what are the actually the instances which I can actually learn from that. And I think this is not to be something which I can be wary of or ashamed of or be kind of worried, but it is actually going to be a learning opportunity for me.
You have to do the introspection. Why did you not get the opportunity and why did your junior get it? No introspection?
Ma'am, I think these are two things. While he was already working as a professional or something, while the experience I think varies. Right now, I think I should have worked more harder in order to get the same thing which he actually achieved. So I think I am going to be a bit nervous for that, but I think most of the criteria is actually I'm going to something learn from that thing. This is the actual thing I would say.
Okay. There's a trend going on right on. There are people who retire at a very young age and enjoy their later years of their life relaxed and chill. They earn for a certain period of time and then they relax. However, there are people who want to work throughout their life till they are alive. What category you fall into and why?
I think I fall into the workaholic structure people because I think if I cannot be idle, I need to be involved or indulged into something in order to get my brain developed or my professional develop. I cannot be idle at some place. I need to work harder in order to get. I think this is the criteria I would like to say. That is why.
How about then giving time to the family, which during the work life you would not be able to devote?
Right now, work-life balance is actually not an issue for me because this is the learning phase. The more I learn, the more I can grow. I think there are actually going to be some kind of uh, where I can be far from my families, and it may hinder my work-life balance. But still, I will work more on my work instead of being involved too much into my family because
Wow.
I'm actually already being I already have lived 20 years of life with my family. I think that is actually more enough for me.
Coming life,
right
coming
now.
life, coming
Come.
life, the family life that I'm talking about. So you'll overlook your family and more focus upon your goal of working only, right?
I think I should be able to create a proper balance, but I don't want to sit idle after 30s and try to enjoy more on my life. But I'm actually kind of a person who actually tries to work on his skills or personality, I would say.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतीश।
Yes.
आपके फीडबैक पार्ट के बारे में डिस्कस कर लेते हैं। ई इनवॉइसिंग आपने ठीक बताया। ई वे बिल जनरेशन, ई वे बिल की वैलिडिटी में आपने ओवर डायमेंशनल कार्गो 20 किलोमीटर्स के लिए 24 आवर्स मिलते हैं, वो आप नहीं बता पाए। और इन्वेंट्री रिकंसिलिएशन, परपेचुअल इन्वेंट्री आप नहीं बता पाए, कंटिन्यूअस बेसिस पे जो इन्वेंट्री ट्रैक होती है। न्यू टैक्स रिजाइम और के बारे में आपने बताया, टैक्स रेट ठीक बताई। जो एग्जम्पशन डिडक्शन नहीं मिलते हैं वो ठीक थे, बट वो इतने क्लियर नहीं हो रहे थे। और यहां से आपका जो है, एक तो आई ब्लिंकिंग बहुत ज्यादा थी, तो आप बहुत ज्यादा आई ब्लिंक कर रहे थे, एक वो चीज है। दूसरा, आप फास्ट भी बोल रहे थे कई बार।
Yes.
तो उसमें एक ब्रेक और पोज होना चाहिए, जो नहीं है। मींस कंटिन्यूअस आप बिना स्टॉप बिना पोज के बोल रहे थे, तो वो क्या होता है कि फिर वो इंटरेक्शन खत्म हो जाता है, सुनने वाले का इंटरेस्ट भी खत्म हो जाता है। तो आपको आपका कंटेंट ठीक है, बट उस कंटेंट के लिए सामने वाले में कुछ जील हो सुनने के लिए कि मुझे हाँ अच्छा लग रहा है सुनने में, उसको जनरेट करना पड़ेगा। वो पोज से आएगा, तो कामनेस और पोज लाना बड़ा जरूरी है। तो अलग अलग पॉइंट पे आपको वो लाएंगे तो और भी बेटर, और सुनने वाले भी इंटरेस्ट लेंगे। अगर आप कंटिन्यूअसली बोलते रहेंगे तो एक टाइम के बाद 10-15 सेकंड का अटेंशन स्पैन है आज के, उसके बाद तो हमको भी समझ नहीं आता आप क्या बोल रहे हैं। तो ये आपको सामने वाले की अटेंशन ग्रैब करने के लिए पोजेस लेना जरूरी है, और ऐसे दिखाना जरूरी है आप उनसे बात कर रहे हैं। तो ये एक इंटरेक्शन लगना चाहिए कि यस यू आर टॉकिंग विद अस, एंड ये सब कुछ नॉर्मल है, ये आपको थोड़ा सा करना पड़ेगा। यस।
नीतीश, बात करें टेक्निकल की, ओके ओके, लेकिन आप आंसर को थोड़ा ज्यादा स्ट्रेच कर रहे हो। लाइक इल वेरिएंस तो आपको सिंपल, जो भी चीज आपसे पूछी जा रही है तो आप उसका अप टू डेट वही आंसर रखें। एग्जाम्पल जब आपसे पूछा जाए तो आप उसका एग्जाम्पल दे तो ज्यादा बेटर है, राइट?
Too many fillers used, a lot of fumbling. ठीक है, तो उसका हमें थोड़ा ध्यान रखना होगा. एंड मोर ओवर अगेन द सेम स्ट्रेच आंसर, बट मुझे जो बुरा लगा विथ सर, बोथ द सर दैट यू आर टॉकिंग, सर 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 सर, आपके एक आंसर में 10 बार सर 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 आ रहा था. You need to control on that, right? Moreover, when you're talking about you are an efficient planner, you've mentioned it in your CV.
Yes, ma'am.
In that case, you should be talking about something that has already been planned. The answers sounded a lot of robotic, lot many times it sounded robotic. वो human touch नहीं लग रहा था answers में. So efficient planner is someone who has planned and is working on it. So we need to be a little more realistic when we are giving the answers. Are we clear with this? Right? Thank
Yes,
you. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, all the best, Nitish.
Thank you.
ओके, थैंक यू नीतीश।
Okay.